What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're watching. Shouts out to everyone in the comments, in the community. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you lot are new. I wanted to do like a quick, short, sharp video this morning because we got to address the Rashford situation. We have to talk about that. Rashford breaks his silence, and obviously, if you haven't seen it, this is the context or the background of the story as what we've known. There was a video went out on social media of Rashford basically confronting a fan after the game against Atletico. Obviously, we've gone out and Rashford was leaving, and some fans basically, I wouldn't say they abused him. But they heckled him. They heckled him and let him know that he'd been performing badly, especially in that game. And one thing I will be honest with is, again, we haven't seen the whole video. So in my view, it looked like Rashi was walking past and somebody has said, my God, after that performance, basically, i.e. after that performance, you can't come and sign some shirts, etc., etc. But again, the video is quite choppy. It's very quick, and it basically shows the main part of it, which is Rashford looking like he's swearing, but actually it's his index finger saying, "Come over here and say that to me." It basically shows Rashford losing his head. That is, what I mean? I don't think we should be going into this was definitely said before and this was definitely said after the video got cut off, or this was said in the lead up. But what the video does show is that Rashford has lost his head with a fan, and it shows that some fans were there to kind of definitely let Rashford know how they're feeling. There's a couple of things to this. The first thing, because I think there's outrage, this is what I mean. Look at these stupid fans. Why are you going to do that to a footballer? There's that side of it, which we'll talk about. And then there's the side of he's a human being. Like, how much more can you take before you explode? Before, like he says in his statement, his emotions get the better of him. Because that's essentially what's happened. The first thing I saw was an amalgamation of everything over the last 5 to 6 months, or basically this whole season for Rashford, kind of culminate into one melting pot and boiling point, and I just saw the volcano basically explode. Not in a charge at the supporter kind of way, not in a way of like, something physical and stuff like that, but he let his emotions get the better of him. I saw that spill over, and what I saw is a young guy, is a guy who's not that, he's 24, 25, is a guy, a player, a person who's showing that actually they're really struggling with this. They're really struggling with he's really struggling with the form that he's been in. He probably can't understand how he's playing so poorly. He's struggling with the fact that he's getting stick and getting criticism for his performances on a constant level. And he's also admitting, like anyone would be, and this is, I don't care what anyone says, this is in defense, not only in defense to Rashford, but in defense to anybody who was in this situation, whether it be in normal life, whether you're a superstar, whatever, showing that he is struggling and not dealing with basically heckling, abuse, being made fun out of constantly on social media. Now, look, there are, which is a very human response. There's only so much you can take. What you have to ask yourself is what the intentions were of the people going down there to confront him. Because, okay, you pay your money to go to the game, and whilst the game's on, yes, it's your job to support the boys, etc., etc. But I think within the sporting arena, I think that's where you can express your loud gasps, your "oh my God, this has happened," or "why has this happened," or your frustration out loud to the pitch. Yes, it transfers to the players, and you can say that makes them not play well. We should actually be more positive in there. But in the moment, with how Rashford's been playing and the team, but if we're just talking about Rashford in this, I understand that. For me, would I personally go and queue up and wait for the players to tell them what I thought of them? I personally wouldn't do that. But again, it is a free country. It is a free country, and you're entitled to your opinion. But I think the problem with that is you then have to be aware that your response could be met with actual energy, actual real energy, not put a tweet out and maybe Marcus is going to see it and he might clap back, or not, you know, put a tweet out and then loads of people agree with you and say, yeah, this is why Rashford's shit. Not a tweet out that says, you know, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You're met with real energy. And I think what we're seeing, what we saw in that clip was a clash of real energies, because you've got one side of the fans, a couple of lads there that wanted to make his feelings known to Rashford's not personal space, because he was over there walking off, but make it known to him, right, in person. And then you've got the side of Rashford who's saying, well, do you know what? I've had enough of this. Come and say that to my face. And that's the one thing I will say. I think it's easy for me to say this, right? Because I'm not going through it. I'm not taking pelters on that. But then again, I'm not playing for Manchester United on big wages at the biggest club in the world. But for me, I think it's better that he just says nothing. You saw Harry Maguire walk out. There's another video of Harry Maguire walk out. He's been taking a lot of pelters. And he just keeps it moving and keeps walking. He has his hood up, then he takes it down, he's got a bag in his hand, and he just walks, and he's getting heckled. But what we're seeing is the difference of characters, because I remember the end of the 18 season, when Pogba was literally our best player, even though it wasn't a good season, but by numbers and stats and what he contributed to the team, he was our best player. And you had that idiot who was in the front of the Stretford end, giving it to him, giving it. And what we saw is a difference of personalities and difference of maturity as well, because had Pogba at that point literally said, he was gesturing. He was like, okay, is that what you think? Is it? What, you coming at me like that? Really? I pity you. It was kind of that energy. He didn't respond. He didn't do the whole, you know what, you come over here, come on the pitch and tell me that. Do you know what I mean? He dealt with that in a really, really good way. And like I just mentioned about Harry Maguire, he is taking pelters and he dealt with it in the right way. And I think that Rashford admitting that his emotions got the better of him is true. Like it's difficult when you've been heckled and when you've been, like you said, you got the piss taken out of him and he's going through this and etc. etc. I just feel like he's got to, which he's admitted himself, he's got to try and find a way to not boil over. But at the same time, I have to be honest with you, and you might see this as sitting on the fence or whatever, but you can't disregard the fact that you are human. You are human. And when you're met with real energy from real people in person, sometimes you go, do you know what? Come talk to me then. Come talk to me, because I do think a lot, because it got real. One thing I did notice, not saying that I wanted it to get more volatile, because I didn't. It's toxic as it is. It's toxic enough as it is at the football club. You know, and there's going to be some people who are watching this, and some of you are going to say, listen, Flex, you know, serves him right. Serves him right. He's been playing poor, and a fan wants to tell him he's been playing poor. Look how entitled he is. There's going to be some people who think that, and there's a lot of people who think that. But there's also a lot of people saying, how much can you take? If you confront him in person, expect that it could go that way. And what I did notice is that the energy, I was going to say in the room, it was outside, the energy around that area just changed when he started coming over. I didn't hear no one saying nothing then. It was, you know, it was almost like they were shocked that Rashford actually responded in that way. And then when he left again, it was effing this and effing that. I personally question the intentions of that. Like, we don't think Rashford know he's playing absolutely disgracefully. Do you know what I mean? I just feel uncomfortable. And this isn't a, oh, because you won't call it out, Flex, or whatever. You saw what I said in the game, after the game, in my reaction. When I'm talking to you guys, when I'm talking to the community as a fan, and I'm having my say on the game and on performances, I'll say what I need to say. I spoke about the rebuild, I spoke about the foundations, I spoke about play, everything. In all the shows that we do, in all the talk that we have as fans, in all the stuff that we talk about as fans, whether it's in your WhatsApp group, whether it's on the phone to your friend, whether it's in face-to-face, down the pub, down the restaurant, whatever, playing six-a-side, and at the end of it, you're all having a chat, whatever it is, we all have our say. But me personally, I'm not trying to queue up to then tell a player that they've been shit and try and provoke that reaction, even if I'm not meaning to. It's different. It's different if, yes, you want to take your little one down there, or you want to get your shirt signed, or you want to meet the players and stuff like that, because I feel there's a cut-off point. Nor personally do I expect, if you have had an absolutely shocking game, you've been horrendous, don't get me wrong, it's nice if you can sign autographs and, you know, but at the end of the day, again, I think we forget that human aspect. If I'm a professional footballer, I'll take the money out of it, because I do feel like the money, there's an argument obviously that it gives them a sense of entitlement because they're on so much money so early that the lack of the desire is there. But also, we as fans forget that the money doesn't make them not human anymore. And if you are in the worst form of your whole life and you don't know how to get out of it and you're in a rut, and I don't know if there's other stuff going on instead of that, I don't know. But if you're in this mental space that we know that Marcus Rashford is in, and you're him, do you want to face people after the game? Do you want to have to stop and take pictures and smile like everything's okay when inside you're burning up? No, you don't. And this ain't even just Marcus Rashford's case. This is just any human case. If you're at work and you're having a tough time, but you have to go and smile and be fake and do the extra bit, do you know what I mean? Then sometimes that's going to get the better of you. That's not saying that that's not a responsibility and something you may have to face throughout your career at Manchester United or being a professional footballer. I 100% get that. I don't want what I'm saying to get misconstrued as, well, Flex, he plays for Man United. He's on over 200 grand a week, you know, etc., etc. Actually, part of why I think he's behaving in this way or struggling in this way is because of the things that have happened to him in his career that have been all on the upwards, all on the upwards trajectory, all on the kind of star boy, golden boy, achieved so much outside of football for such a young age, which I don't even need to talk about that because for me that's completely separate. The work that he's done outside of football can't be taken away from him. He's got an MBE in his house. That's not what this is about. But actually, when you deep it, the fact that he's had so much rise in his career is basically the reason why he probably doesn't know how to deal with what's going on now. And me personally, whether it was Rashford, whether it's Pogba, whether it's Maguire, whether it's any player who's just getting hounded out like that, especially, I mean, Maguire's kind of new to the squad, it didn't come through and stuff like that. But there's something that I find uncomfortable about like seeing a player just down on his ass, looking worse for wear, having to come out and, well, didn't have to, but coming out on social media, explaining his actions. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not saying that any of you lot do, but you know, I couldn't sit there and think, me personally, this is me personally, I didn't sit there and think, well, you deserve that, Rashford. Look at you. You know what I mean? On all this money, you know what I mean? Who do you think you are? I'll be honest, I didn't think that. I thought it was more of a shame of the whole situation to show the vibe at the club. Like, I'm like, it's got that toxic that fans are now having altercations with players. Players are losing their heads. And like I always say, pressure, bus, pipe. That is what this is. Pressure. This is pressure bursting the pipe because it can't take any more. Do you know what I mean? I'll be honest, I didn't see abuse in that clip. It wasn't abuse. I think there's this thing that people are saying like, oh, you can't abuse the players and expect to get, you know, this, that, and the other. Look, we don't know the whole video. That's one thing I will say. But from the clip, I wouldn't say that guy was abusing Rashford. It was more heckling. It was more, is it needed? I personally wouldn't do that. Why shout out like after that performance? He knows. He knows. But at the same time, some people see the need to go over and above for that, which I personally wouldn't do. I don't agree with that. I think he knows he's playing shit. Have you not just seen him have a massively poor performance again in 15 minutes where he didn't even want to cross the ball? He didn't even want to touch the ball. The ball went out for a corner. He ran over to the corner flag and looked up. Didn't even want to take the corner. Waited for Mata to come. Like, the guy is nervous as hell. The ball come into him. He tried to set someone. I think he tried to set Pogba inside. Gave it away straight away. Everyone arms up. First thing Rashford even done when he came on the pitch. Get the ball. He had it in his possession. Ran into, I think, not Llorente. I don't know. He ran into someone in that Atleti's team. They got their body between him and the ball. Fouled him straight away. That was his first contribution to the game. Everyone, oh. So don't act like we don't think that Rashford is aware of this. So for me, why would I then go there and tell him that? The only thing I'm trying to achieve if I'm going there to see that is to kind of, like I said, get a shirt signed, speak with, get like a young kid their shirt signed or an interaction or a photo or something like that. That's if you're on that. Some people don't want to do that because of how poor we're playing, but you have to understand that these players are still people's heroes. Do you know what I mean? Even if we've been playing poorly, there are people from far and wide and local who idolize these players and who back these players. You know, even in the flesh, i.e., I know you've just played shit in there. That was in there. Can't believe I'm meeting you. Can you sign the shirt? Then you got a choice point by going over there. You're either gonna get met with air, as in, I've had a shit game in my head. I'm just walking past, like what Harry Maguire had, right? Even though he was getting pelters as well. Or, like you said, if it's someone like Pogba, which what happened to him was disgraceful as well in terms of his home getting burgled. Hope him and his family are okay as well. There was that going on in the background, but we didn't know that at the time. But or you're met with like what probably someone like a Pogba would do, which would be, look, hand up, say kind of sorry, what, maybe take a picture, sign a shirt. Maybe Sancho would do that. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Jesse, if he's going for a tough time, might do that. It depends on the player, depends on the moment. What I don't think we should be doing is saying that we've got this God-given right to forget that players are humans, and when we don't get a response that we feel is fit, because I wanted my shirt signed, because I wanted a selfie, but they don't have to. Like, you know what I mean? They're professional footballers. They don't. They get paid to play football, and yes, playing for Manchester United comes with a certain level of fan interaction and fan attention, but also it doesn't mean that you are obliged to do things in the heat of the moment. And I think sometimes as fans we get a little bit entitled, and I saw a little bit of entitlement because, like I said, when Rashford came over, which he shouldn't have done, but when he started losing his head, the energy changed real quick and nobody said nothing. Then the security guard ushered him off, and then it was, you effing this, you effing that. So look, all in all, my summary of this, because I don't think it's, I don't want to be on here projecting more volatility towards the situation. That situation what it is. And that's why when I first saw it, I didn't even say, Rashford, you need to shut up and do this, you deserve this. Or even say to the fan, oh, look at you. I think it's more about how sad it is for the situation that actually that's where the football club is. This is where the football club is. Whether it's through the season where Rashford's had to come out and defend himself from lies from Christian Folk, whether it's Harry Maguire who's had to come out and defend lies from other journalists saying about the captaincy, whether it's Fred having to say, listen, I don't normally talk, but I said this and not this. Whether it's Pogba, when Ollie was here, he put out a statement saying, one thing I won't tolerate is lies. It's been so turbulent this season, and actually, that's what this is showing us, that actually it's a mess, and that the pressure has bust the pipe. That's the lesson to take from this. On a personal, me personally, if I was advising Rashford, I would say come off social media. Me personally. Again, he doesn't have to listen to little old me. Who am I? My advice would be just come off it. Just come off it. Get your head out of it. But that I do see where people are coming from with this, because he set a precedence of coming out and talking about things, because he set a precedence with his social media account and how it operates and how his team operate it. It's kind of like he's being consistent with what he's always done. But the problem with that is what we're seeing now. I saw there was some reports today that he might be going on holiday or something to go and clear his head and stuff. Yes. Yeah, some people even saying, listen, just stop playing to the end of the season, go and get your head right, because something's not right. There's playing poorly, and then there's doing what he's doing at the moment, which is something like I've never seen before. I've never seen a player be that down in the dumps performance-wise in recent times. And can't get himself out of it, but also show it in public, and that's uncomfortable to see. Me personally, I don't like it. I don't like it for the fans to have to see it, and obviously vice versa. It's not nice for Rashford to have to go through that. So what did I take from this? I took from this that actually we just need some calm. Like, if you do see the players, it's your right to say what you want. Like I said, that wasn't abuse, but just think twice before you kind of give it, because you might not get a response you like. And as for the players, I'm not saying they're watching this right now, but you have to try and keep a check of your emotions. I know how difficult it is, but when you're met with real energy, sometimes you're going to snap. You're only human, and I understand that. I understand that you're only human. So yeah, it's not a nice scene. It wasn't good to see. I'm not enjoying this. I don't think anyone could be enjoying this, and I mean, me and Faz were talking about it yesterday, and people were saying to me straight afterwards, see, that's why Flex, you shouldn't have protected Rashford. Big up to Faz, his opinion at the time, I probably don't know if it still is, but he was saying that Rashford doesn't care about Man United. And again, I'm not protecting Rashford with that, because people were saying, see, it's clear to see he doesn't care. Look how he's talking to the fans. I didn't really see it like that. I just saw it as take out Man United and look at the human aspect. I'm just seeing a human who can't cope with what's going on. Now, if you want to say that shows that you haven't got the mentality to play for Man United, that shows that you can't deal with it, that shows this, that shows that. Fair enough. That's up to you. But for me, I don't know. I'm big on the human element of things, and having spent time with ex-footballers and current footballers, you do see a different side. I have learnt that as a fan. I have learnt that, and that's not about protecting players. It's about just remember. It's about sometimes taking away the strict tribal fan element we have, that they should be absolutely perfect in every situation, and actually you can't, even as anybody. Even if it was me, if I'm, you know, I don't know, facing some stick from people who don't like what we do, or whether it's in society and you're getting a bit of stick or having a hard time. Like I say, pressure bust pipe. My grandparents used to tell me that a long time ago, and everyone's got a breaking point. Whether we agree with it or not, whether it's Man United or not, everyone's got a breaking point. And Rashford is, I think that's what I'm taking from this, is that he's reached his. He has reached his. And it ain't nice to see. I don't want to see him go out like this. Will I criticize his performances? Yes. Have I been criticizing his performances? Yes. Have I been saying that he shouldn't start games? Have I been saying he's dropped a minus at 10 out of 10? Yes. Those are footballing things. Those are things that, one, he already knows, but two, you know what I mean? That's how he's playing right now. But I think when you start doing it face to face, you're just into a realm of, you know what I mean, you might get a reaction like that, which shouldn't happen, but that's the reality of it. So yeah, smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the situation. What side of it was you on? Was you on the whole flex? You're lapping it up, mate. It's all his fault. You know, this is what happens when you X, Y, Z and you're entitled. Are you in that camp? Or, you know, are you on the side of, you know what, every human being has a breaking point? You know, why are the fans, you know, saying it to him face to face? Is it their right to do that? It's a big melting pot of opinions. I want to know where you guys lie on it. I just hope it could be put to bed. One thing I will leave by saying is I think Rashford should just come off social media, stop talking, get his head down and remove himself from this circus the best he can. He's Marcus Rashford, so he's always going to be somewhere thereabouts, there or thereabouts. But I think the best thing for him to do now would be to just leave social media, man. Just go get a break, catch a break, and try and focus on his game, which I'm sure he's been trying to do, but he can't right now. So he needs to just leave it. But I don't want to see players go out like that anyway. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.